Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back, and today I'm going to give you a few pointers and a little bit tips of advice for replacing the up pipes on your Duramax diesel. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that's going to replace these up pipes are going to be doing it for a variety of reasons. One reason may be that they don't like the way that the factory ones bend. They are prone to cracking. They may want to delete their EGR, and if you delete your EGR, you don't need this little leg right here coming up. So instead of just putting a blocker plate on this right here, they might actually vouch for a solid up pipe, which is what I got right here. This is a Sinister Diesel brand up pipe, and this is going to replace this little section right here and delete this little jot up point. So for anyone who may not know, your up pipes are actually what comes up from your manifold, and then they go into the bottom of the turbo, into the pedestal, and then they come up, and then it goes out the turbo, the hot side of the turbocharger comes out and then goes into your downpipe. The passenger side one has this little leg up right here, so it goes into the back of the EGR. The one on the driver's side does not have it, and it looks very similar to the one that I purchased over here. When taking these off, the best advice I can give you is to spray these bolts, these exhaust bolts down very heavily, and make sure that they sit for a while, and spray them again, and we'll spray them again. I tell you, spray these things and let them sit with some type of cutter. We use PB Blaster, but any type of liquid wrench, something like that. Shoot, even WD-40 is better than nothing, but I highly recommend doing this, or else you're going to have a very difficult time getting them out. Another word of advice I will say is, if you're doing this yourself, be prepared to maybe do a lot of work if something does not go right. And actually, unfortunately, it did not go 100% right for us. We were taking out this bolt right here all the way into the middle of the turbo pedestal. The only way you can get these bolts off is with a breaker bar, a very short extension, and a 12-point socket is required, because the way these bolts work, they actually have the 12-point heads on them, so only a 12-point socket will fit on them. Once you have all that on there, I really do recommend having two people doing it. One person underneath there pressing down and holding the socket against the bolt, and somebody else on the outside, inside the fender well, pushing up on it, trying to break it loose. Now, another thing I will say is be very careful, because these break off very easily, and that's actually what we had happen right here. So this bolt broke off into the turbo pedestal. It broke off flush, so it was actually coming out, and it was the very last bolt we had to get out, and unfortunately, it broke off. So that bolt is now broke off inside the turbo pedestal, which means instead of me having to pull this pipe right here on the passenger side and just replace it with that one, I've now got to pull both of them, including the driver's side one, and I've got to pull the turbocharger off of the truck to now drill that out and run a fresh tap down inside of it and clean out all of the areas over there where the bolts go into. So this caused a lot more work. So I'm telling you right now, be prepared if you go to do this to maybe be taking a little while. Your truck may be sitting down. If you kind of don't want to have that hassle, that responsibility, if it happens to break, then it'll be sitting down. You might want to take it to a shop somewhere, maybe a performance shop if they want to do it. The best advice I can give you is, like I said, to spray the crap out of it. Be careful with your bolts, taking them in and out. Have a ton of patience, and do not rush and do not jerk on anything, because that's when stuff starts breaking, and then that is when everything, the work just starts adding up to it. The only difference really between the driver's side up pipe and the passenger side up pipe is the driver's side up pipe has a heat shield, and it doesn't have this little leg on it like I mentioned earlier. I've actually sprayed the bolts down on that one. I'm going to let it sit for a day or two, and then we're going to try to take that one off again. Now, we're not going to try to take it off down by the manifold. We're actually going to try to take it off by the turbocharger. And we'll go back here and get a good look of what it looks like in here. So the bottom of the up pipe connects right here to your manifold. Let it focus. There you go. Connects to the bottom of the manifold right here. Okay. It then goes up there. You can kind of see right there. See the hole right there? That is the driver's side up pipe. So that is coming from the driver's side manifold and going into the bottom of the turbo pedestal. And then this one comes from here and goes up into that side. And then it also had that leg that come up, and it went up there to your EGR. So what happened was we were taking out the bolts on the far side, and it actually broke off flush in there. You can actually see the little stub sticking up there on top. So unfortunately, I've got to take off the top bolts over there for the driver's side one, pull it out, and then we got to pull the turbo that way and drill and tap that hole to get it out of there. So it does cause a lot more work, and I will honestly say that this down here, if you break one of the bolts off in the manifold, you might be able to get a compact drill in there to drill it out and maybe break it off. But if you're not able to get a drill in there to take it off, you're going to have to pull the manifold off, and then you got to worry about breaking the bolts that are on the manifold back into the head. Because if you break them off in the head, then you're really, really in trouble. So before you tackle this job, just be aware that it is a lot of work, it is a lot of headache, and that you will probably say a good many words. But I will honestly say that at the end of it, it will make your truck run a lot cooler, make it run a lot better, and it'll be a lot better than anything that come from the factory stock. So anytime you mess with exhaust stuff, I recommend using a very strong cutting agent, and also have a buddy or two around that you can have assist you with taking this stuff apart. So that's my little bits of advice to you. Thank you very much for the view. If you guys have any questions, please ask down inside the comment section. If you have any builds or anything you want to share, if you want to message me personally, you can do so at southernsilveradomail@gmail.com. I will actually post that link down inside the description below. And have a great rest of y'all's day. And if you happen to start this project, good luck.